Hi, welcome to Vance Tried It. Today, I'm going to be making an unstuffed pepper skillet. It's kind of like a stuffed pepper, but all the stuff that you would normally stuff in the pepper, we're going to fix in a pan, and then we're going to put some cut up peppers in that pan. So that's what we're going to be cooking today. I found this recipe on Cooking with Shotgun Red. That's on YouTube. And there's also a website called shotgunred.com. So hopefully you'll check that out. I'm going to leave a link to that down in the description. But let's go ahead and get started. I have my pan here. It is heated up to medium high. We're going to start with one onion that we're going to put in there. And on top of that onion, we're going to put some hamburger. Now, the recipe calls for 1.5 pounds of ground beef, but it's hard to find a package of 1.5 pounds of ground beef. So what I did is I got the 2.25 pound package of ground beef, but I got the 73%. So it's going to have a higher fat content. So when it cooks down, it should be about the same amount of meat as if I got like a 85% and cooked it down. And so we're going to go ahead and get that cooking up in there. And I'm going to go ahead and add these spices and things right in here while I'm cooking. I'm going to have here about a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. And then I have about a tablespoon of garlic. And I have a tablespoon of Italian seasoning and about half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper. I'm going to put all that in there. Now, remember, when you are adding your seasoning before you cook the meat, you always want to add a little bit extra. So if it says a tablespoon, make sure you add a heaping tablespoon, because when we go to drain this, we're going to lose some of that seasoning. That's just the way it goes. But the benefit, I think, to seasoning it before I cook it is it lets that flavor cook right into the meat. And so by adding a little bit extra, then we're not afraid of losing it, but it really adds the flavor right into the meat. So that when you taste that meat in the dish, you're really getting some of the seasoning right there in every bite of meat. Got a couple of extra. Oh, I have more utensils than I have hands here. Okay, let's do some juggling here. Not real juggling. I can juggle balls, but I think juggling kitchen utensils would be challenging for me. Now, the interesting thing about this Shotgun Red channel is Shotgun Red is actually a dummy. Now, by that, I mean a ventriloquist dummy. You see, there's this man named Steve Hall, and he was pretty big. He was a musician, a comedian, and a ventriloquist, and his dummy was Shotgun Red. And Shotgun Red was actually a co-host of Nashville Now for about 10 years. And so they were a pretty big name there. And he started this little YouTube channel where he did some cooking with Shotgun Red. And then Steve actually died in 2018. And his business partner and life partner, Miss Sheila, and his good friend and bandmate, Miss Jennifer, they kind of took over the cooking on the channel, and they're still going strong today. If you go to Cooking with Shotgun Red, you can go back and you can watch some of the videos of where he's doing the cooking. But hey, don't be afraid to go watch Miss Sheila and Jennifer, because they do a really good job on the channel also. And there's some really good recipes. And then actually, if you go to shotgunred.com, there's going to be a section there where you're going to be able to see all of the recipes that they have made over the years on the channel. So there's some really good stuff in there. I hope you will go click on that link and support them. And I also hope you'll support this channel. So go down in the comments, leave a comment, and subscribe, and like, and share. It sure would help out this channel, help out me, and also it will help other people to see these videos. So go ahead and do some of that. Now, there's kind of a special place in my heart for stuffed peppers. You see, we'd been married about a year, and my wife was pregnant, and she was working, and I was working, but the difference was I worked from 5:30 in the morning to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and my wife, being a teacher, she worked later in the day, and she would typically get home about 5 o'clock, and she'd be worn out, tired. And so I started doing really most of the cooking in the house. And that's all right, because I had learned to cook as a young man. See, when I was a teenager, my parents got divorced, and I was living with my mom, and it was just she and I, and she worked nights. So I had a choice. I could either just have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every night, or I could learn to do some cooking. So I learned to do some cooking. That's where I kind of got my start, and then I really started cooking even more. Like I said, when my wife was pregnant and I was getting off way earlier than she was from work. And one of the first recipes that I made from a cookbook, because before that I was just making stuff like tacos and hamburgers and just stuff that was simple that I knew how to make. Hamburger helper. And nothing's wrong with hamburger helper. I like me some hamburger helper. But I decided to get out the cookbook and make, that's right, stuffed peppers. The first recipe, I think, that I ever made for my wife was stuffed peppers. They turned out pretty good, and I've been cooking every since then. Now, we have all this really cooked up and going good. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and get this drained off, and once I have it drained off, we're going to come back and finish the rest of this. Alright, so we have the meat drained off, and now we're going to finish this up. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, we have 3 bell peppers. We have a yellow bell pepper, a red bell pepper, and a green bell pepper, the trifecta of bell peppers. We're going to put these in here. Now the reason I did not put these in with the onions and garlic and the meat and all that stuff, because a lot of times that's what I would do, is I would put that all in there in advance. But the pepper is kind of the star of this show, and so I don't want them to cook down quite as much as I want that other stuff to cook down. I want there to be some bite to these peppers when we bite into them. I want there to be some solidness and maybe even a little bit of crunch. Not like it's raw, but certainly not like it's completely cooked down like some of the other stuff is going to be. And by using a red, a green, and a yellow, we're just going to get a little bit better color in this plate, and that's going to make it look a little bit nicer. Put this off to the side. And in addition to that, I'm going to put 1 cup of instant rice in here. This is jasmine instant rice. I'm going to put that in there. We have 1 1/4 cup of beef stock. We're going to put this in here. And then I have some diced tomatoes, and this is Italian style. It's going to have even a little bit more of the seasoning in here. We're going to get that in there. We're going to stir all this up so that we can get the juices going in here. And get the juice on the rice so that it will absorb that juice in there. And we're going to cover this up. We're going to let this cook for about 8 to 10 minutes. And then we're going to come back and finish it all up. So I'll see you then. Okay, so we're back, and our food has cooked up, our unstuffed pepper, if you will, and everything is going good here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to, well, first let's do this. We're going to put some salt and pepper in here. And along with that salt and pepper, we're going to put in 1 cup of cheddar cheese. We're going to stir this up in here. Let it get all nice and melted up here. And then we're going to take just about 1/4 cup of some mozzarella cheese. We're going to sprinkle that over the top just to make it look good. Add a little bit of flavor to it. We're going to put the lid on it for not even very long. It's not going to take long. We're just putting the lid on there, let that steam get in there, let that mozzarella cheese melt down just a little bit. I can see through the lid already. It is starting to melt down. And that's all it took. We just want that cheese just to start melting a little bit. We're going to take it off the heat. I'm going to show y'all what this looks like right here. Hopefully y'all can see this, get a glimpse of it. Don't want to turn it too far. I'll dump it all out on the ground, but I think y'all can see what it looks like right there. It looks good, I tell you that. But now what we've got to find out is what's it taste like. So we're going to come in here and just get us a little spoonful right here, right out of the pan. It's hot, so I'm going to blow on it. Yeah, I dropped a piece of hamburger on my hand. It was hot. Oh yeah, that's really good. So not putting the peppers in there at the beginning, that's really the key, because now the peppers still have some solidity to them. They're not completely softened up. They're not hard like they're raw, but they definitely, you can feel it when you bite them. The seasoning is good. The hamburger's good. The cheese in there is good. Hey, this is a good one-pot meal, and it only takes about 20 minutes to cook. And look, there's only 2 of us. We're going to be eating this for days. You could easily feed a family of 4 or 6 with this meal right here. So, hey, I tried it. You should too.